Absolutely. Katya, what's the Philadelphia Tribune? Hi, Campbell.
Hi, how are you, Katya?
Excellent, excellent. Oh my God, I so loved your episode. And I knew a little bit about you, but I didn't know that much. I loved your vulnerability. Talk a little bit what made you comfortable enough, because it had to be a little scary to open yourself up like that, not just to the people that are shooting you, but it's out in the world, you know?
No, 100%. It was nerve-wracking at first, but I say to everyone, from Pagan to Elena, Bristol, who was the director, and Sam Pollard, they really made me feel safe. Like they, from the moment they asked me to during the filming to even in the edit, they really cared. And as an artist as well, I like to work with people who care because then I know whatever comes out isn't going to be detrimental to any of us because they care. They're as much involved on the line as I am. And in having my story told, my mentors and the people who've come before me inspired me. So I think it's imperative that while I'm still here, that I'm as honest because then whoever looks at my story and is inspired can truly be inspired because they know this is how it happened and how I got here. But yeah,
First of all, I'm glad you say inspired because in the space that you shoot in, there aren't a lot, it's a very, very light. And I also love that you are in that space and you're unapologetically Black and you bring other people in. Do you know what I mean? It broke my heart to hear Naomi Campbell say, as long as she's been modeling, that you are the first Black photographer that she worked with. I
yeah.
mean, how did it make you feel?
Yeah, because when I shot her, it was in an editorial sense, like in the fashion sense, because she's been shot by black photographers, but it was kind of a bit like, are you sure? But then in my little career so far, I've been the first black photographer to do a lot of things. So it made sense. And then it made me feel at first very sad because I may look this way. So when I'm shooting, I just see the model. But I can't imagine now that being on the other side of the camera, seeing yourself reflected back at you. Like I was so comfortable doing this because there was people who looked like me, people who understood me. So it made me sad to think that someone of such a great stature for so many years must have felt a little lonely. But then it gave me the gumption to be like, "Do you know what? This will never happen again so long as I'm on this planet. There's gonna be more of us, and and not just black people. I mean, any minorities, whether it's female-led, whether it's um, race or gender, all of those things. I think it's important because the more you have, the better the stories are. Because why would you want one type of story for the rest of humanity?
It's also lighting. It's also lighting. You understand how to light us better, right? Because you are a Black, you shoot yourself, so you practice and you understand. Hey, we need our lighting needs to be X, Y, and Z, so we don't look green or gray or ashy. Which happens a lot when people don't understand or that different hues need different lighting. Also, the other part I loved is that you went to Ghana, and as an openly queer man, I think that speaks volumes. Not only, I love what you said, is I don't want the only picture of Ghana to be bloated bellies, meaning, poverty, everything is like destitution. I want to show the beauty of Ghana. And again, you brought in a model to reflect the beauty of the women, you know what I mean? To say, hey, this is Ghana also. Speak about why that is important because people have so many, first of all, they look at Africa as one size fits all. And I'm always like, it's a continent of various countries and cultures. And within each country, there are even because, a lot of these countries were forced together. So talk about why that is important when we do go to Ghana and places like that, that we show the totality of the country, not just, you know, destruction.
I think it's important just because from my just own experience of living in a dual world of being British and being Ghanaian, I was often bullied for going to Ghana. I was often told, why would you want to go to? It was always looked down upon. So, but I loved it. Like as a child, I loved going to Ghana. I thought, it's my little secret playground because I was free in Ghana. as a child in Ghana, I could travel, I could move freely. Whereas in London, you weren't allowed outside your house for fear of, all the bad things that can happen. So, but that then did a number on my brain. Regardless of what I saw, I was told something else. I was taught something else. So then coming across like the work of like James Barnor and like Kwame Braithwaite and Malik Sidibe, even though it may not be Ghana, it made me realize that Africa is a glorious and vastly varied place. And I think it's important that we don't just leave it for our forefathers to do that work, because there'll come a time when I'll be someone's forefather, and it'll be important to see what Ghana looked like during my time. And it's important for the world to see what Ghana looks like. Like, as humans, we take in images 600,000 times faster than words. And I believe that visual representation can change nations, can change minds, it can change how people view. Like, look at the huge change of how Ghana has become a hotspot from the year of return. It's because we're seeing it on people's social media visuals. So as someone who's visually led, it's important that I show the little world I inhabit in Ghana as honestly as I can, so then it isn't so foreign to the human mind that an African can be beautiful, that an African can live in such beautiful nature. It isn't just in the Bahamas and in all those other places that are also beautiful.
I agree. The other part I think that's important, a conversation that we as Black people need to have, how do we love on our relatives that are queer, that are members of the LGBTQIA community? I know in my family, we went through it. My sister is gay, and we had to have some truth conversations, and it was a little rough going with my parents. Not for me. My sister and I were good, but I love that you put that out there too, because I think there's a lesson to be learned. We can't talk about God, and we can't talk about family, and we can't talk about unity if we don't love all of us, right? And talk about what you're hoping that you opening up your family situation will inspire other families to do and to exercise better stewardship and understanding.
Yeah, I hope anyone who looks at my story can understand that patience is beautiful, forgiveness is vital, and to understand that we're all, we're all living life for our first time. So when things may come to us that we don't understand, instead of shunning it, be curious, and to understand that everything can be healed and changed with love. And I mean that in a sense where the highest form of love for me is courtesy. You just have to be courteous that you're not ruining my existence. You don't have to like be my champion, but you don't have to be my enemy. And I think that's where people get a bit confused when they're like, oh, you're trying to make me accept that you're part of the LGBTQ. I was like, oh no, my love, there's nothing to accept. The sky is blue. If you tell me it's green, it's still going to be blue. But what I'm trying to say to you is that it doesn't diminish you or me to be like, okay, I agree you exist. And like most things, if you're courteous about another person, you don't want to hurt them. You don't want to shun them. You may not, champion them, but you're not going to do anything in your life that's going to diminish their shine. Because as history, has shown us, at one point in time, I was illegal just because of my skin color. And if they had the same mindset back then, both those who were punished and those who were doing the punishing, then we wouldn't be where we are today. So I think a lot of people live in fear and live through fear and need to live through courtesy. And you'll see that with my family. Like my mum and I had a really hard relationship, but now she's able to come to my show and be part of my life. And my brother talks on it how, he's had to really change his mind on things. And it's been hard, but nothing worth doing is ever easy.
Absolutely. Well, I think you're amazing. I think there's going to be a lot of young boys going to look at your story and be inspired and be like, hey, he's there. He comes from where I come from, and I can too, reach for the skies. Much success to you. Many blessings.
Thank you, Kathia. Thank you.
You're welcome.